Hello everybody, it's Andre. So if you are on my Facebook, then you know that I made Korean stuff yesterday. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to have a taste test. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and make the dashi for me and my taste test partner, which is my mom. So here we're going to make the dashi. So I'm going to set the camera down. Or, no I'm not. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, which is sliced or diced avocado. And I've got 2 glass bowls here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scoop the avocado right here into the center of the bowls, like so. Okay? And some of you may be saying, okay, avocado, which originates in South America, is not really an Asian food. But they use it a lot in Asian fusion cuisine, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I want to. Magic! Okay. Okay, so there we go. We have the avocado there in the bottom, and then I'm going to get my ladle. And I made dashi already. And to make this, what I did is I used instant dashi, which my mother has, which looks like this. Comes in a box. It's a thin box. Has a powdered dashi. And I put that in some water, okay? And then I added cut zucchini, kind of cubed, but not really, and green onions, okay? So then I'm going to set the camera down. Here we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glass dish, okay? And I'm going to scoop out some dashi. And then I'm going to pour it so that it goes around the edges. Okay? There we go. Okay. So then that's one, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. The pouring around the edges thing didn't really work out too well because what I wanted to do is I wanted to have the avocado stay in the bottom, and it didn't really work out that way. So, sad face for me. Okay. Alrighty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dashis. I'm going to take them over to the table. Alrighty. So I've set my dashi over on the table. I'm going to cover the rest of it because it's bad to leave stuff uncovered in the kitchen. Okay. And so this is what it looks like. Okay. We're looking at it from my mom's perspective, so because since she got up, we're gonna do it all fancy for her. Mine looks like this. Plastic containers, everything on the same plate. Yeah. Okay. So what we have here is we have dashi, and we have dashi. We have roasted pork. We have rice. We have rolled up halves of lettuce leaves. We have cucumber kimchi, Chinese, Korean cucumber kimchi. We have Korean squash, which is what it's called. I use zucchini, which I'm assuming is some type of squash. And we have what was supposed to be Korean cucumber salad, or that's the recipe that I followed. But what I did is I used broccoli, carrot slaw, and some steamed broccoli that I had from before. And I used those in place of the cucumber. Okay? Alrighty. So, now what we're going to do is Andre's going to find a way to set his thing down so that you can see while I'm eating. Yeah, see, we're going to use the mango box and the CDs. And we're going to hopefully be able to stand you up. There we go. Now, let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. And I need my spoon. Hold on while we get our spoon. Alright, so now we're going to begin eating. My mother is here. You can't see her, but it's okay. So since it's Korean, and my mother studies Korean because she's so wonderful, she's going to start us off by saying that she's thankful for the food, I believe is the translation.
It's a loose translation. It's a little bit difficult to say in English, but I'm looking forward to the meal.
Yes, yes. So go ahead and start us off, Mommy.
잘 먹습니다.
잘 먹겠습니다. And so now we're going to eat. In Japanese, there's also a saying that they say before meals, and I want to say that it's itadakimasu, but I'm not sure if that's when you come home or when you're eating, because I get those confused. Because you never know. I might be eating or I might be coming home. Depends on if I'm at the table. It's awkward. Alrighty, so let's start off with testing the dashi, Mommy. We'll also test the dashi, and we'll hear both of our responses on the dashi. I like it. I can't really tell the difference between the avocado and the zucchini. Because the zucchini I cooked was very well cooked in the dashi, and so you can't really have or there isn't really a difference in texture. So, but I think it's really nice and really light, a little salty, but that's how dashi is, and this is, I feel, really good. The avocado, though, is giving it kind of a creamy aftertaste, which I like. Yeah, so Mom, how do you feel about the dashi?
I think it has a really nice soft taste to it. Not really salty. It's not really spicy. It is great if for foreigners if they want to eat it, which is us. Because it's not
Hopefully they won't deport us.
No, it's time 11, but it's really really tasty. I think the onion adds a little bit to it. All around, I think it's got a great flavor.
Okay, so we've tried the dashi. Now next step, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try the cucumber salad and see what I did with this. When I cooked this, I followed the directions, but the directions called for chili powder, I believe, or chili oil or something. No, I think it called for chili powder, red chili flakes. And I'm not really big on red chili flakes because that's really spicy. So what I did is I used sweet chili sauce, but I only used like half a teaspoon, like, so it's very small amount. But we'll see how Mom likes it. I find it to be as spicy as I would ever like anything to be, which is not spicy at all. It also has sesame oil in it. And vinegar. Everything has vinegar in it. Has green onions. But overall, I found it to be a very nice sort of flavor. A little bit, for me, I don't know about my mom, I kind of taste the way that, like, macaroni salad smells. I don't know if that's because of the broccoli, the steamed broccoli that's in it. But it has, like, a weird, like, mayonnaise-y kind of thing that I get. But I get that from a lot of stuff that has sesame in it. How do you feel about it, Mom?
Well, I can taste the the sesame oil. The Andre's right, it's not really terribly spicy. It's just got a little taste on the tongue. Probably give it a hot meter of about 1. But it's very tasty, and then having the broccoli a little bit softer, and a little crunch to it. I think it's a very tasty and along the real Korean line here. So
Okay. The next step, we're trying all our side dishes first because those are what's important when it comes to Korean food. We're gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna do the squash, the Korean squash first, and save the kimchi for last. Okay, so the Korean squash has soy sauce in it, not shoyu, soy sauce. Which, if you know the difference, one is more acidic, um, and it also has like a darker orangish yellow brown color to it, as versus to the lighter, not so much yellow in the color that shoyu has. But I didn't have shoyu, so I used soy sauce, which is what the recipe called for. And I think it came out really nice. It also has sesame oil in it and vinegar, but it doesn't have any of the chili sauce in it because this recipe didn't call for any of that. It did call for black pepper though. So, and it also called for a quarter of a cup or a half a cup of sugar. So it's a little sweet too, but we're gonna try it and we're gonna see how we like it. Okay, I'm gonna go first. I don't know about my mom, but this tastes really Korean to me. Like super Korean. Like because of the shoyu and the vinegar and the shoyu, it has like kind of like almost like a sweet but tangy teriyaki kind of flavor to it. Or like I don't know, but it tastes really Korean to me. Like you would go to a Korean restaurant, plate lunch restaurant, and this would be the kind of taste that you would find. So
I ate in a national Korean restaurant when I was in Seoul, and this has the flavor of a side dish. Little bit sweet, little bit soy sauce taste to it. Not too oily from the sesame oil, but it gives that nice variety. If anything was really spicy, it makes that balance.
and all the side dishes are cold. Just so that people are aware of that. The squash, when I cooked it and it was hot, it was almost like a sweet and sour soup. So I'm sure that you could do that as well, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you had like a cold because hot vinegar and stuff is good for clearing your sinuses. Alrighty, so next we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try the cucumber kimchi. Okay, kimchi, as all of you know, is often very, very red. As you can see, mine is not too red. That's because I didn't use chili powder and I didn't use chili oil, which are both things that are called for in this. I used, again, the sweet chili sauce, and I only used about 2 tablespoons. I made, like, a lot. I used, like, 2 large cucumbers. The recipe calls for 5 small pickle-sized cucumbers, but I used, like, small ones. Also, what I didn't know when I made it is that you should use rock salt on the cucumber after it's been sliced, and you let it sit for a half an hour so that the salt draws out the moisture, and then you rinse it with cold, clear water or fresh water. And so I didn't have rock salt, so I just used table salt, iodized, the big round thing. But I think it came out pretty good, even though. Okay, so we're going to try it, and we're going to see how we like it. I'm using my fingers, which is bad. For me, I've had cucumber kimchi when I was younger. We used to have it semi-often. I haven't had it in years. I haven't had any type of kimchi in years because I swore off spicy foods. But this seems a little bit sweeter than regular kimchi is, by like quite a bit. It still has the tanginess and everything else seems to be on level. It's just sweeter than I feel that it should be. But it's very good because that works for me. It still has a little bit of spice to it on the end. Barely even noticeable though. So I like it. It also has garlic powder in it. How do you feel about it, Mom?
I think I agree with Andre. It's not traditionally kimchi. Kimchi with the chili paste is really, really spicy. You know, you've got 0 to 10 spiciness level in Korea, and this doesn't have. I don't even know if I could give it a 1, but it is an offset, and it reminds me of a Japanese dish that has that kind of really sweet flavor. Andre, I'll have to defer to him, but there is a. It has seaweed in it, and it does have cucumber, and there's a name for it. It fails me, but this is nice for foreigners, but it has really much more of a sweet taste than you probably would find kimchi in Korea. But I like it. Like I said earlier, it's something foreigners would really go for. I think I like it very much.
You know what? I might be confused. I might have been confused that the kimchi recipe that I followed in the beginning, making the pickling juice, is vinegar, water, and sugar. So that's probably why it's so sweet. And then in addition to that normal sweetness that you get from the sugar when you're making the pickling juice, I used the sweet chili sauce. So that added like another layer of sweetness to it. So, yeah. Oopsie. But this is Chinese Korean kimchi. So it's not straight up Korean kimchi. But yeah. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to get our main dish kind of thing, which is our rice, our rolled lettuce leaves, and our pork, okay? And I'm going to demonstrate for my mother, who probably is not going to eat this correctly. Everything else, she don't know how to feed herself. It's so depressing. So you take your lettuce leaf, and you unroll it. As you can see, it's half a lettuce leaf. You hold it in your hand, okay? Then you take some rice, and you smush it down like so that it's kind of flat lying in there. And then what you do is, if you're using chopsticks, you go ahead and you take your pork and you put it in the middle of your rice, like so. I like a lot. And then what you do is you roll it back up. Okay? So then it's all rolled up like so. Like a little taquito, burrito, enchilada, but with lettuce and rice, and kind of like sushi, except you're using lettuce instead of seaweed. And then what you do is you just eat it. And it's awesome. But that's how you eat these. Okay, I have 4 lettuce leaves on my plate. I gave my mother 3 because I found in my experience that you don't need to eat too many of these lettuce wraps before you're really full. Because I know me, I tend to put like way more than fits in the lettuce on the lettuce leaf. And then I'm eating it and it's like a sandwich. So this is like 4 sandwiches if you don't have an eye for it necessarily. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Plus all our side dishes and our soup. So yeah, it's awesomeness. Mother, would you like to make one of yours and comment on how it tastes? I also provided spoons, chopsticks, and forks for ease of access to putting food into mouths, which is important. How do you feel, Mom, about making lettuce wraps?
Well, lettuce wraps are traditional. You can make them big or you can make them smaller, like, whatever is, however you like to eat them. But you find, traditionally that this is something a lot of people like in Korea. So I think it's very, very tasty. And of course, depends on what you're putting in it, whether it's really spicy or not so much in the lettuce. In that case, it helps to balance the spicy because of the water content. So we're gonna roll this one up. So as Andre said, I don't make a mistake in how I'm gonna eat this thing. So let me wrap it up tight.
Yeah, so you see these a lot in Korean dramas. This is mostly where I get all of my knowledge of Korea from, which is horrible. I'd feel so bad if people watched American TV and that's what they thought Americans were like. Except that we are kind of actually like that, but it's not that bad. Or at least not the people I hang out with. But yeah, I'm also drinking ginger ale with my food, which is not appropriate necessarily. You should be drinking tea of some type. The website that I went to while I was looking for soup recipes suggested chrysanthemum and persimmon tea. That's very, very cold. But no, that's not happening. Edible chrysanthemum is not something that you can find too often in the United States. And also, I don't drink tea, although I'm not too sure about the chrysanthemum and persimmon tea. I don't drink tea mostly because of the caffeine that's in it, which makes me crazy. But, yes, so anyway, lettuce wraps. Mother, how was your lettuce wrap?
I like the lettuce wraps because, again, when you have really spicier food, it really offsets because of the rice is bland, the lettuce is kind of bland. The beef is, or the pork is really good. You'll find you eat beef there too, but
And chicken. And
yeah,
fish, of course.
of course. And each one gives a different flavor to whatever lettuce wrap. But I find that, again, it's very common to eat these in Korea. And I just like to say overall that, of course, you're eating your side dishes as you go along with this. So you're throwing the spicy in with the one that's not as spicy, giving an all around taste. And I think Andre's really hit that traditional idea of how Koreans eat. I think it's wonderful.
I follow
Korean.
recipes. Or look at pictures and then decide if I can make that. Also, on the final note, we're going to thank my mother for stopping by. Thank you, Mommy. Which in Korean is 감사합니다. And to wrap things up, we're going to go over once more what we had and the gluten and vegan levels in the food. I don't eat dairy, so nothing on this was dairy. As also a lot of people of Asian descent do not eat dairy as well. They're lactose intolerant, a lot of them. But let's see. Obviously, the pork is not vegan. I'm pretty sure everything is gluten-free, except perhaps for the dashi. The dashi, I don't believe, is gluten-free, and it is also not vegan because it has bonito in it, which is a type of fish. If you would like to substitute something for that, I recommend using vegetable stock. You can put the same vegetables in it, and then maybe add a little bit of soy sauce to it to give it that extra earthy kind of flavor. But other than that, everything is vegan and gluten-free. So I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you so much for stopping by. And now you're going to have to look down my cleavage because I have to lean across the table.
And I'd like to say to Andre, 감사합니다, Andre, for the great Korean
Try to get
fair that we're having today. Thank you.
Alrighty, bye-bye. Mwah!